Survey the campaign map using the W, A, S and D keys. Q and E rotate the camera. You can also hold down the middle mouse button and drag it to scout around, using the Z and X keys or your mouse wheel to zoom in. Left-clicking on a settlement, army or agent selects it. All orders are issued by right-clicking on your chosen target. Technology reflects the advancement of your faction through new ideas and techniques, allowing you to construct advanced buildings, new unit types, or greatly improved equipment. A faction can develop technology along 3 paths of specialization, each consisting of 3 interlocking modules. While each technology has its own inherent benefits, researching all technologies within a module has an overall effect that is greater than the sum of its parts. Armies and fleets can be assigned stances which improve their movement rate, line of sight, and various attack and defense attributes. Select an army and click on the Stances button at the bottom of the screen to choose one. Crossing water with armies and agents is achieved simply by right-clicking on your desired destination. They will automatically board a transport ship and begin their passage, disembarking once they hit land. A province consists of up to 4 regions, each one containing a settlement. One of these is always the provincial capital, a major walled settlement, whilst the remainder are minor settlements without defensive walls. Building construction improves both the strategic and economic potential of a settlement and enables it to grow. Over time, provincial growth enables you to develop settlements either by upgrading existing buildings or by constructing additional ones. Depending on the resources available, different types of buildings can be developed. Coastal settlements can also contain port buildings. When a faction owns an entire province, provincial edicts may be issued. Lasting for a single turn, they nevertheless have powerful effects, such as increased tax income or improved public order. The number of edicts that can be issued per turn depends on your faction's imperium. Trade between regions and other factions is vital to economic development and prosperity. A province automatically receives trade wealth based on its constituent buildings. Some regions are rich in resources and valuable trade goods, with prices that vary depending on supply and demand at any given time. Factions trade both goods and resources, so trade agreements made through diplomacy enable profitable trade routes to other factions. Your party can gain power by completing missions, winning victories on the battlefield, and through political machinations back home. Generals with some experience can be left to lead your armies and fleets or be granted political office. While offices cause a gradual increase, a successful general provides a major boost to your party's power during wartime. Although power can be left to accumulate, it can also be used to carry out agent actions, such as assassination, aimed at undermining the power of another party within your faction. spy, dignitary and champion agents have unique abilities that significantly impact your campaign. Generally, they are used directly, but can also be activated simply by an agent's presence in a province, region, or within an army. Every agent has a series of attributes split into 3 categories: cunning, authority, and zeal, which offer different approaches to actions upon the same target and shape the outcomes of those actions.
In addition to attributes, many units and ships have their own special abilities that affect a variety of factors, such as their morale or the damage they inflict. Many, such as the frenzied charge, improve the unit's attack ability for a limited time. Special abilities are unlocked by researching military technologies in the campaign game. Many special abilities cannot be used again for a cooldown period, so it is important to use them sparingly and only at crucial moments. To select more than one unit, hold down the control key whilst left-clicking on each unit or unit card. Alternatively, you can hold down the left mouse button and drag a box around them. Groups make it far easier to issue move or attack orders to multiple units. Use the Create Selection Group button or the G key to create up to 10 groups, using their respective number keys or the tabs on the review panel to select them. Spear and pike units are generally best put into tight formations to present a virtually impenetrable barrier. Often present on the front line and advancing as soon as the skirmishing phase has ended, they are supremely effective against cavalry. However, their lack of mobility can be exploited by skirmishers and, particularly, more agile melee infantry when in close combat. As movement is limited, the flanks and rear of spear and pike units are also particularly vulnerable, so should always be screened by more mobile troops. Heavily armoured and armed with lances, these prestigious cavalry units should be kept in reserve and used sparingly so their impact is decisive. A cavalry charge into infantry lines can be devastating, but their intervention must be carefully timed to inflict maximum damage on the enemy. Despite their armour, shock cavalry should generally be kept clear of spearmen and are best used to charge weakened or disordered points in an enemy line. The heaviness of their armour means they will tire when engaged in prolonged melee combat, so ideally they should be withdrawn once their initial charge has hit home. Assault ships are the front line of your fleet. Large vessels with strong hulls and fearsome rams, they carry the fight to the enemy, ramming their hulls whilst missile infantry in towers pepper the decks below. Finally, the boarding party leap aboard to finish off any survivors hand to hand.
By setting camp, your army fortifies itself against attack and defends the surrounding area. Although immobile, a fortified army has greater defensive capabilities, line of sight and reinforcement range. If attacked, it can also deploy fixed defences such as barricades, wooden stakes, spike traps and, if playing Rome, a temporary fort on the battlefield.